Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am so happy to be here with you to share this time with you as we launch a new series, a new show, a new concept, and a new community. Welcome to the Grove. I'm so pleased to have you here with me. So, today, as we get started, I thought I'd start since today's the first show, I thought I would start with sharing a little bit about what to expect, a little bit of why the Grove exists and why it's called the Grove. I'll start with that one because that's an easy one. I wasn't even going to name my new show anything. And upon meditating and contemplating and seeing all the other little projects that I had been working on, I felt that we could bring them all together. In the background, I had been working on a membership community on my website as well. I had been tinkering with a forum on my website. And I felt this would be a great opportunity to try to encompass all of it under one umbrella. But what would that umbrella be called? Bernard Alvarez? That's great. Wasn't enough for me. So um, I was thinking about calling it the name of my coven, which is the Star Mountain Grove. And I was like, well, no, that's my coven's name. And that's how I ended up with the Grove. The Grove is our community. It's our online space. The show is only one aspect of what the Grove is. And the show itself, let me tell you a little bit about. Every week, I like to see this as a place for us to come together to take 30 minutes to tap into ourselves, to nourish our spirit. And I'll be utilizing meditation, talk, some prayer if needed, as well as a spell intention to go along with the theme of the week. Now, as you saw, the theme of the week for the first show is what's blocking your happiness, what's blocking your growth. So, everything we're going to be getting into today is going to be related to that particular theme. So, with that, if this is your first time watching one of my programs, I do hope that our casual atmosphere will help you feel comfortable and free to chat in the chat room, to comment, to get to know others in this community. I would love to get to know more about you and how I can serve you as a community. So please comment. Please don't be shy. Send me emails. And as a matter of fact, there will be a forum section where you can put in your ideas for upcoming topics, classes, and things like that. This is going to be much, much more interactive. This is your community. This is for me and my spiritual nourishment, but it is also for you and how we can do this and achieve this together. So let us start and take a moment to welcome the Great Mother into the space that we have and bless our time together. O Great Mother, Lady of the Night and the Silvery Moon, she whom is the darkness and the light that shines through it, hail to thee, great Lady of the Moon, and hear us, your children, as we ask of your divine presence here within our sacred circle of light, where we've come to partake of the great beauty, strength, and wisdom that lies within each and every one of us. Blessed be. I'd like to read to you a passage from my book, The Book of One. And I am going to be reading passage 9. I will not be reading the entire chapter, just the passage. And this passage is called Knowing Truth. Wisdom achieved through external learning is not true wisdom. Wisdom achieved by unlearning is true wisdom. Do not accept truths presented to you through another's assumptions. Accept only the truths that lie within you, for that is true wisdom. Listen to the stirrings in your heart, and you will know all you need. That is the voice of one. Listen to it, for it is truth. And again, I picked that passage to go along with today's theme about what's blocking us. And again, one of the things that inspired me to start, to end the Just Bernard show and start off on this whole new direction was that for me, I felt like I was being pulled in way too many directions and way too many deadlines and way too much stuff on my schedule and way too, have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. I don't want to have to do anything. And interestingly enough, as I told many of you when I went on vacation that I would be working on developing this new program, I got to spend some time with my mentor back when I was working with Paul Mitchell. And she said something to me once. She said, you know what? If it's not making you happy, don't do it. Don't do it. And for me, all of the chatter and being pulled in every direction and being told what to think and being told what to do, and whether it be news or friends or politicians or TV shows or whatnot, it was like, wait, shush. I know the truth. You know the truth. We just are constantly being bombarded with distraction after distraction that we can't hear ourselves feel. We can't hear our intuition anymore. So that is one of the reasons why I picked this as the first program for the Grove Show. Anyway, what I'd like us now to do is we're going to do a very short meditation. If you like, you can contemplate on what might be distracting you or what the words of one in the passage I just read meant to you. But let's just kick back, take a deep breath, and have a meditation minute together. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am in peace. Deep breath in, calm. Deep breath out, peace. Breathing in, I am calm. breathing out, I am in peace. So, what is blocking your growth? What is blocking my growth? What is blocking our happiness? And as I was writing today's talk, I kept thinking, well, there could be a lot of things. It could be something physical on the physical plane that's blocking our growth. It could be someone in our life that's physically in our life, but again, that brought it back to me. I allow them in my life. You allow them in your life. You allow them to affect you. I allow them to affect you. Physical illness, well, physical illness and pain and chronic pain, of course, is something that some of us have to live with, but it's not necessarily something that could block happiness or growth. It could distract, by all means, but it also could be used as a learning lesson. So then I moved on to emotional, mental. Are we ignoring things that are happening to us subconsciously? And then I moved on up to the spiritual. Is there, karma that I'm not paying attention to that is blocking my growth? Is my spiritual practice out of whack? And that immediately took me back again to the idea that by me blaming something on the spiritual, I am not taking responsibility for what could be blocking my growth. So these are some of the things that I came up with, and I did take some notes from some people online, and I compiled a few, and I'll mention them now to get it out of the way. Some of this stuff comes from Michelle Morrow's, some from Isam Kandamani. Yeah, that's it. And myself. So let's talk about what could be blocking our spiritual growth. What could be blocking our happiness? And one of the things that I remember as a young person, and I would say in my 20s when I was a little bit a wild child and whatnot, one of the things that I kept holding on to that I had to learn to let go of was regret. Wanting to living in the past, replaying those episodes, replaying those chapters, nights out or wrong job or whatever it might be. Living in the past brings regret. Wondering about the things that we could have done differently, how that might have changed. Well, if only I had done this, my life would be different. If I had chosen to, get my doctorate and my PhD, my life would be different. If I chose not to marry that person, my life would be different. That's regret. That's living in the past. And guess what? Regret is a drain for happiness. There is no happiness when we are living in regret. And let me just say as a footnote that some of these things that I'm bringing up, of course, leading up to our spell at the end of today's program, so that we can contemplate what it is that could be blocking it. So I'll just throw this out there now, give you a little heads up, is that the spell will be to live your life without that which is blocking your growth. And to be able to do that, we need to identify it. And I know we may not be able to identify it in 10 minutes, but every little bit helps. And just focusing your attention on allowing yourself to explore what might be considered something uncomfortable is going to allow you to help remove that obstacle, that blockage. So let's move on to something else that might be causing you from allowing you to, from blocking your happiness or blocking your spiritual growth. And I find that this could be very common for those of us when we're younger, maybe not so much when we're older, but I have seen senior citizens do it. So I don't know, it's all our own individual path, and that's what this comes down to, and that's living in comparison. One of the biggest causes of unhappiness, in my opinion, is that comparison leads to negative feelings that make happiness almost impossible. Comparing ourselves, comparing my car to that guy's car, comparing my house to that guy's house, comparing my job to that guy's job, comparing my looks to that person's looks, comparing my partner to that person's partner, comparing the grass is always greener mentality, that what I have is not enough. When we go into that state of comparison, we create this downward spiral that it branches off into all these other aspects of our self-esteem, of our confidence, and is a distraction from our spiritual nature, from our higher selves, from our intuition, and from what we know better. These are things that we've all heard and know better. And we just seem to fall into them sometimes. I do it, you do it, she does it, they do it. We seem to fall into them. And if anything, at any given point in our life, we may have one of these things repeat and come back as something that might be blocking our happiness and blocking our growth. So it's always good to hear them once in a while and to do that, not to sound too 12-steppy, but that deep inner inventory and take a look at it and see what might be going on. And that goes into judgment. Again, judgment. I always say there's a thin line between a judgment and an opinion. And there's a difference between an opinion and a trigger. And then there's a difference between a trigger and victim mentality. So we've got to be really careful when we start going down that spiral of judgment. That spiral of judgment is a reminder, or I should remind you, that when we are judging others, we are literally judging a part of ourselves. I say this with all seriousness and with a straight face, even though I smile a lot. I say this, everything we see in other people that we don't like is a reflection of something that we are uncomfortable with within ourselves. I know it's cliche. I know you've heard that 1,000 times, but it's something that is very, very true. And I have yet to find a workaround to that, to see that if it wasn't true. So when you judge another, you're judging yourself. And is that what happiness is about? And I want to break that down into the real world right now, which is going to be a little uncomfortable for some of us. There are some of us, myself included, and I have to catch myself constantly. There are some of us that judge people who are not of our same spiritual philosophy, our same religion, are not of the same political leaning, perhaps, not, or even judging them for their economic standing in the community or whatnot, or their intelligence, for that matter. We have a tendency to judge. And it's important that if we truly, and again, my motivation behind all of this, and has been for years, it has been to constantly remind us that we are one human family. And in order for us to live as one human family, we must come to that place that when we judge others, we call ourselves out on it. We call ourselves out, not have somebody else say, oh, you're judging. We see that when I say, oh, well, their political philosophy is stupid, or their religion is dumb, or, etc., 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 that is judgment. And that is not leading us into that space that we must evolve into to create one human family. With that being said, well, that's a whole nother show. Wait, I was just going to say that if we want to change the world around us, we have to change ourselves. And that's what this is all about. Speaking of which, another blockage might be attachment. We attach ourselves to our homes. We attach ourselves to our jobs. We attach ourselves to our partner. We attach ourselves to our economic status. We attach ourselves to things and people. And, it's one of the first tenets of Eastern philosophy is to not attach yourself. Connecting with people is healthy. Connecting with your partner, connecting with your pets, connecting with the energy of your home. Connecting is a beautiful thing. Attachment is saying that you find your identity within that person, place, or thing. That is going to block your happiness. That is going to block your growth. And then one of the easy ones, of course, is fear. Fear, anxiety. I just recently spoke up about it, that I've been having anxiety myself over the last several weeks or month or so. And I had it when I was younger, and it seems to have come back. But I believe many of us are getting that anxiety again, and that anxiety stems from fear. Fear is good when you're running away from a tiger. Fear is good, but that fear that is within our mind, that is a problem. That is where it's time to seek help. That is where you go to a spiritual counselor, a certified therapist, a psychologist. You do the work to get that fear under control. If it's blocking you from being happy, if it is blocking you from achieving happiness, if it's blocking you from your growth. And then lastly, and maybe this should have been spoken of first, but I wanted to cover the uncomfortable stuff to bring it into the most uncomfortable. And that's spiritual bypassing. There seems to be this tendency now where we avoid complex feelings, we avoid psychological issues, we avoid, bad stuff happening in the world or bad stuff happening to us by spiritual bypassing and saying, oh, everything happens for a reason, or you create your own happiness, or it was for the best. Or, oh, it's a blessing in disguise, good vibes only, thoughts and prayers. That's avoidance. That is avoidance. And this spiritual bypassing is extremely unhealthy. And not only is it unhealthy, it stifles your growth. It stifles your happiness. Do not succumb to the idea that you have to be positive all the time. You don't. I admit I'm having an issue with anxiety. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I admit that I hurt my finger. I don't know if you saw the Band-Aid on I crushed my finger on a window pane the other day trying to fix something. Bad things happen. It's okay to, no, the window didn't attack me. No, it wasn't a demon smashing a window down on me. I'm not a handy person. I was trying to fix a window and it fell on me. I'm not going to blame it on everything happens for a reason. Spiritual growth means to be able to not only feel love, but to express love without fear and condemnation, to be authentic, to be true to ourselves and our desires, to follow our intuition and our inner guidance, to follow the highest path, to be awakened to the spirit and live each day with love, peace, and joy. Growth is a process And it's easy to fall into old habits, especially when you're trying to cope with something difficult. Spirituality can be a positive aspect in that growth, but don't let it be a crutch. I always say I'm the skeptical witch, I'm the skeptical shaman, I'm the skeptical miracle healer. I've seen it with my own eyes. That's why I know it's real. It's my experience going back to that passage from 1. Me saying that I've healed other people is because they say I've healed them. Me saying that I've helped people with, shamanic soul retrievals and things like that. Me saying that I can, cleanse people's homes and remove negative energy. That's all fine and dandy, but because I've seen it. I've seen it before and after. I've had out of body experiences. I have been in contact with light beings who have appeared before me in a completely sober state. So these are my experiences. However, it doesn't mean that I'm not skeptical about everything that I hear when it comes to these things. So a healthy dose of skepticism is good. And it's also important to accept that which you have experienced. Explore the ugly. Allow yourself to explore the ugly. But also remember that you are more than the ugly. And I feel that's coming full circle to the talk today, is that we get so busy trying to be us, whether it be our day-to-day jobs, whether it be the story of who we are in our head, that we forget there's this amazing aspect of us that is divine, this amazing aspect of us that is beyond the ego. The ego is a part of it. That's a whole other story. We are the higher self. We are the ego. We are the energy body. We are the physical body. We encompass all these wonderful layers of ourselves. And sometimes we forget. And I'm hoping that this program is going to help you to remember that as we do this every week. So with that, I would like you to think about your spell for today. We are going to be doing a spell now. What I would like you to do is to, if you'd like, just close your eyes with me. I'll close them with you. And think about what we just talked about. Think about what could be blocking your spiritual growth, what could be blocking your life growth, what could be blocking your happiness. And just take a moment, sit quietly, and think about what that might be. All right, so hopefully you get a sense of what that might be. And now what I'd like you to do with your eyes closed, as you see mine are, if your eyes are open, close them. With your eyes closed, I would like you to visualize what your life looks like without that blockage. That which is blocking you, that which you've kind of sensed is blocking you. See yourself, put yourself in a scene where that doesn't exist in your life. See yourself somewhere where you can feel and see that that's no longer a part of your life, that you've overcome that obstacle, that you've overcome that which is blocking you. And see it become clearer and clearer in your mind. See yourself. See where you are. And see how you're feeling, that now that obstacle has been removed. Your growth is expanding and you feel wonderful and free and cleared of that anchor and that blockage. and you smile and you're grateful, sense that gratitude that it is no longer a part of your life. And I'd like you to hold on to that image. We are creating a thought form. Let's hold on to that image. Hold on to that feeling. And we're going to ohm it into existence. So on the count of 3, take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. One more time, deep breath. And one last time. Now release the thought form into the universe, sending it on its way to be completed. And as we do will it, so mote it be. It is done. Blessed be. That was nice. So we're coming up to the end, but I have a few announcements for you, and I would like to share with you a little bit. First of all, tell you a little bit more about the Grove. Please take a moment to go check out the Grove part of the website. You will find the members community, and you can sign up to be a part of the members community. As a part of the members community, you'll be able to post on the forum and begin to meet other people and have discussion. Go on there and talk about today's program. What did you think? What was helpful? Talk about the program. What did you like? What didn't you like? What would you like to see? You can go to bernardalvarez.com. As a matter of fact, I believe the link to get to the Grove part is in the description of, will be in the description of every show of the Grove. And then, of course, next week, we will be celebrating Samhain. And what I'd like to do is, if you are going to be participating interactively, we are going to be working with the ancestors. So please find an object or consider and think about what ancestor you would like to attune with. We will be calling the ancestors to come and join us. It'll give you some time to spend some time with their energy, their spirit, and to honor them. So think about an ancestor you would like to get in contact with as well. If you can find something personal to them, or a photo or an object that might have belonged to them, have that handy for you next week when we do the ceremony. As well, of course, it is the quote unquote New Year for the pagan wheel of the year. So we will be, and it's also the final harvest festival. I don't remember what I posted in the description, but if you go to the event description, it'll let you know whether we'll be doing a getting rid of or a bringing in, or it might be a both. But please think about what you'd like to harvest into your life over the course of the next few winter months for those of us living in the Northern Hemisphere, and that which you would like to get rid of, being that it is the end of the year. Anyway, before we go, I would like to do one final meditation with you, or prayer for that matter. It's a meditation, contemplation. So if you'd like to join me, you can close your eyes and take a deep breath. Be gone from me, worry and woe. I have the strength to break free and the wisdom to know. As I breathe in this sacred day, my calm will grow. I call upon my inner guides to help me take it slow. My serenity and tranquility will overflow with harm to none, blessings to all. So mote it be. Blessed be. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next week. Have a great week.